joined us. Both teams are ready. Battle on the Dunes is the map. Oracle, tell us about it.
It's really big, really wide. You have some clouds that tend to move in. They sort of move in on a regular basis. They roll in from the west, but it's a very open map. Decently high flight ceiling, but definitely bottoming out is an issue. You only have two major pieces of cover. You have the Leviathan up to the northwest, and the Ribs down to the southeast. Both can be used for approach or for holding up.
Starting out with the ship loadouts here. First off, for the Riders, the Fancy, piloted by Dementio. On the right wing, we have an Artemis Gat. On the center, a Merc. And on the left-hand side, a Flamer Artemis as well. On the Lib GTK, piloted by Luosi, it's a Pyramidian. He has Hades Flak on there, not going with his normal Metamidian build. And Artemis and Flare on the side. Go at Oracle with the Mad Hatters.
On the other side, we do have the Mad Hatters. Our first ship is the Midnight, a Pyramidian being piloted by Catherine Rammer S. Double Merc forward with a Gap mortar on the port side. And we have the In This Style 10 and 6, a Goldfish being piloted by Mr. Wildcard. We have a Lumberjack on the front with a Flare on the port side and a Carronade on the starboard.
It looks like Schwerbelastung is still having issues staying connected. They Schwer just disconnected again.
Yeah.
Or there's an AI on the Lumberjack right now on the Goldfish. That could cause some pretty major issues if Schwerbelastung can't maintain a connection.
Yeah, this Dunes is a really bad map to lose someone on because often, especially with these sniping builds, because the Fancy, it's a sniper, Lib GTK, it's medium range sniper, Midnight. It's like this is going to be a sniping match. This is the first sniping match we've seen in months. But it's really bad to have someone disconnect on one of these because you are perpetually engaged with the enemy.
So from what I know, Schwerbelastung just reconnected.
There we go. He's back.
The Fancy is going to be doing a lot of support here, although it does have those gats available to it. I'm not too entirely used to Luosi taking the Hades Flak, nor I'm so used to seeing him taking the Gap mortar. How do you think he's going to be able to handle that different range loadout this time around?
I think they're going to be okay. I'd say the big thing is I don't like the double Merc. I mean, you have a balloon popper and you have a armor shredder, but you don't have a hull shredder. So the killing potential of the Mad Hatters is much weaker. Right now, they're relying on those double Mercs to snipe out the guns of these ships and then allow these ships to start bouncing along the ground and lose their armor and hull that way.
Good right shots now, on the Fancy.
Drogue shoot.
Wow.
Drogue shoot not doing a whole lot. Fancy gonna go down. No, gets the balloon back up just in time. Lib GTK sort of moving forward, trying to body block a little bit, but the Fancy loses its balloon again. It's forced to back up behind these Ribs, and the Lib GTK now in a bad position. Drogue shoot gonna save the Fancy just barely, but now the Lib GTK is in a really bad spot. They've stepped out on just the wrong part of the Rib and they bounce. They're stuck, and I think that this may be it for the Lib. If they can't back up fast enough. Ooh, that dust storm. Going to block visibility, but there it goes. It's going to go away real quick here. Lib desperately moving forward. I think that right now, the Riders feel like their only chance is a bit of aggression, but they're getting pushed back again.
Again, we normally see the Lib GTK equipped with a Gap mortar front, a very traditional Metamidian build. This is a little out of the park from what we normally see the Riders take.
Ooh, their balloon. They need to get that balloon back up right away. Armor's starting to get shredded. Drogue shoot.
Great pressure.
For just a minute.
Great pressure on the In This Style 10 and 6 from the Fancy. They took out a couple guns there. They're taking out the armor repeatedly. Great pressure from the Fancy, pushing the Mad Hatters just a little back.
In this style, eating a fair bit of damage itself. These Lumberjacks have been on point, but now the Fancy has a nice shot on them. They're rising up, getting out of that Merc arc. The Midnight, in the meantime, still, I feel like the Midnight has not done a whole lot this game.
It's
Or has it? No, or
those
excuse me.
mercs, those
Excuse
mercs
me.
have been.
Sorry. I'm thinking. Sorry, I meant to say
Yeah,
libgtk.
the
Yes, I don't know
libgtk,
why.
except for a couple quick flag shots on 10 and 6, it hasn't really been able to do too terribly much. It's mostly been them scrambling to keep both ships together. libgtk, of course, stepped out there, as you mentioned. Oracle got a little caught, a little too far ahead for its own good, trying to buy time for the Fancy. It looks like both ships have put things together, though. The Mad Hatters are looking pretty good as well. I got to say, though, those mercs on the Midnight doing an absolute workload. Great shots from them so far in this matchup.
Yeah, neither the Fancy nor the libgtk has really gotten a chance to respond, and that's kind of the point of bringing a double merc. Because even if they do get like the first shot off, you're still going to be able to snipe out their guns. You're still going to be able to shred their armor, okay? And it's made the Riders lose a lot of hull when they do bottom out. libgtk moving around, gonna get spotted very quickly in this style, turning, gonna deal with them himself. And I think he's gonna be okay. These lumberjacks have been really on point. Oh, they're both gonna turn on it. Hades coming out, a little bit of it going to the balloon. Armor's doing just fine right now. The Fancy has an opportunity, though. The broadside in this style is facing them, and these shots are going to be so easy to land. Right now, the Mad Hatters got to do something. There we go. That certainly is something. libgtk going down. In this style, rising up to try to get out of arc of the Merc as the Midnight turns. It's got to use that Merc to take it out, but nope, could not get those arcs fast enough. And now the Fancy, even though it's just double Merc, the Fancy is in a lot of trouble right now. Because all it will take is like one armor drop, and
they barely have anything left. In a normal situation where if they had more hull, I think they get in closer and use the GAT and the Flamer
there it is.
To their extent, but they don't have the armor to deal with it. Fancy just does not have the health available to it to do that. libgtk bring in arc as soon as it spawns back in. Hades shots are starting to land. We're going to see those flag shots start to fly here very shortly. Losi pushing closer and closer to the Midnight. They are not afraid of nothing. They're going right in on it.
Lumberjack, only one shot lands. The Midnight losing its armor. Flat coming in. Huge damage. Half perma ult. But no, the Midnight going to survive a little bit longer. In this style has got to do something to the lib, though. Dust Storm coming in. Balloon Pop going to make it difficult to get out of it. A little bit more difficult. So the Midnight maybe given a second chance at life, but it's losing a bit of hull. In this style, firing in on the Fancy. Ooh, flying very close to one another, but the Midnight going to sort of swap places with the in this style. And they keep that Lumberjack up. libgtk moving in. This is not looking good for the Hatters.
The flak on that libgtk has been absolutely on point. That's why the Midnight's so low. Those Artemis shots coming in as well from the Fancy. Great target so far. libgtk losing its balloon. They're parachuting, trying to keep as much altitude as possible, trying to hold on. Midnight getting punctured, getting destroyed.
There's too much kill potential. Artemis. Too much kill potential on the Riders. Before, the Riders were hiding behind the ribs. They were hanging out low. It made the Lumberjack very, very useful. But now that the Riders are playing more aggressive, that they're moving in and really taking advantage of the quick kill time they have, they're starting to take control of this game again. The Midnight spawning in. The Riders realized
he burned not hydrogen. What is it?
Shoot vent?
No. I lost my words. libgtk burning in as fast as possible, trying to get closer, better arcs. 10 and 6, too much crossfire. Oh, Moonshine, thank you, Rob. I don't know why I forgot my words there for a minute. Midnight spawns back in, took a couple pot shots at the libgtk. Not really landing or anything, but definitely alerting the Rydr team of exactly where it had spawned back in. Not the greatest choice, in my opinion. Need a little bit of conservative action as soon as you spawn in if your ally is not engaged.
Yeah, right now, I mean, the build for the Mad Hatters is meant for attrition. It's meant to sort of, drag it out and, chip away at the enemy's hull. I mean, whenever you take a double merc, that is exactly what you're going for. I mean, you go for this, you disable the guns, shred the armor, you know, chip a tiny bit away at the hull. But the writers realized this, and they said, hey, wait a minute. You don't have any kill potential. Like, we're not that scared of you. And as soon as medium range is achieved by the writers, there's no problem. Like, you see the writers are already moving in, trying to press the issue. Midnight a little bit too low. LibGTK coming in, armor not looking so great, but there's not much that can shred the hull on the side of the Hatters. Midnight gonna get shredded real quick.
Great flak shots. That was some powerhouse flak shots there from the LibGTK. I can't see exactly who's on that Oracle. Could you see exactly who was on that flak? Because their timing was impeccable.
Yeah, that was Roland Tilkantar.
Oh boy. In this style, 10 and 6, trying some panic fire on the Lumberjack to try and get out of the situation. None of them really hitting on the LibGTK. Luosi keeping those arcs solid. Flare hits the LibGTK. I believe their balloon and hull both got lit up by that, but it's just too much. Mad Hatters put up an amazing fight there, but they just could not put all the pieces against a very experienced team with Luosi at the helm.
I don't feel like the Hatters build really gave them any opportunity to do anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was really easily countered by the way that the Riders were playing. All they had to do was move in closer, get into medium range, and suddenly the Mad Hatters couldn't do anything. And I understand that Battle on the Dunes is a sniping map, but these teams are not going to just allow you to hang back and snipe like that if you have the advantage in that sort of engagement. Like, a good team is not going to let you do that. Maybe back in the day when you had double sniping, you'd see more of that, but that's gone. Like, you're seeing like the long range domination of the Hades and Echidna now, and that is not a passive sniper build. That's an active sniper build.
Not at all.
The Mad Hatters tried to play more to the old gent style of passive play, and they got punished for it.
As soon as the writers figured out exactly what was going on, I feel like they analyzed the situation very well, and they simply said, okay, here's the plan. We're going to gun it. We're going to do our best to keep them off their toes in different moving positions. They're going to keep hitting them. We're going to keep hitting them. And it's just, it did exactly what they wanted to do. Luosi, once again, an extremely experienced pilot. A lot of the riders, level 15s, they're very focused, very dedicated. Tough to beat that.